Why come on a retreat with me? Good question. Good question. Why not? Regardless of the venue, what do I bring? What do I bring to the party? What do I bring to the party? Rumor has it that I'm pretty good at holding space for people. I don't think it's something I overly acknowledge myself until more recent times, like potentially maybe even the last 48 hours. But looking back on reflection through my life, it does tend to be something that I do. People are definitely drawn to come to me for a number of different reasons, for assistance, for advice, for all sorts of things, really. And a running theme that things that people say is that, you know, they just feel better after being. It feels really strange saying this about myself. I'm going to say that. Because I'm not used to talking about myself in this way. Strangely, this is interesting. But I'm also writing a blog which I will put into a video format for YouTube around fear, around ego as well. I started writing the blog and it got a little bit long, so it's going to have to be 2 parts. But I did the first bit on fear, the second bit will be about ego. So yeah, I'm kind of going through that at the minute, exploring that. So it's a little bit weird talking about it, but people generally say that, you know, when they're around me, they just feel better. They just feel better. I don't know why. I don't know how. It's energy that I put out. I just give them I mean, you'd have to speak to them, really. I think you'd have to speak to them, because sometimes I don't see it. I feel it, and words, you know, maybe I've got a unique output. I think a few people have said that before. I've got a unique perspective, and words don't really touch that kind of thing, do they? No matter how articulate you are, you never actually get into the feeling. You can describe love, but I mean, it would never come close to actually experiencing love, would it? You know, no matter how many nice words you put around it. You know, you can describe safety, but to actually feel safe, I don't think you can properly articulate it. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, I think that's what I bring to just general yoga spaces, general life. You know, like friends, partners, family members. You know, everybody kind of says the same sort of thing, really. Like you just emit an energy. You know, like I always talk about, I don't know how much you know me, or what you listen to, what you've seen on my social, what you've seen on my website and blogs. Maybe you don't know me at all. Maybe you just maybe I just look like a bit of a blathering idiot at the minute. But it's all about, in my opinion, anyway. It's all about frequency and what we put out and the energy. You know, our hearts are electromagnetic fields. Emotion is frequency. I mean, we're frequency. The physical body's frequency. It's just a denser form of frequency. So it's people just feel that safety and security when I'm teaching. I like to create a space where they can explore their practice, whether it be yin and they're just softening into the body, just exploring it, you know, offer support. I can see things, adjustments that might need doing, sometimes even before the person realizes I would offer something and they're like, no, I'm all right. And then like a few minutes later, you see them go actually and draw that, that support in and use it. Intuition, I suppose, is quite strong, and I'm still working on that. but people tend to come. What was I talking about? In a yoga class. So yeah, whether it be Yin yoga, sorry, whether it be Yin yoga, whether it be Vinyasa yoga, there's always depth to explore in your practice. And I hope, and the feedback is similar too, that I do create that space for people to explore their practice at their own pace. I push people, not literally, I push people to explore, but without putting pressure on them to do, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I always encourage people to get out of their comfort zone, like whether it's on the yoga mat or whether it's in life, if you're in your comfort zone and you've been stuck in your comfort zone for a long time, then you're not going to grow, you're not going to change, you're not going to develop, and maybe you don't want to, and that's fine. But if you do want to, then you need to get out of your comfort bubble. And it doesn't mean you need to smash it and go, right, I'm petrified of heights, so I'm going to go and jump out of an aeroplane and, face my fear. It doesn't mean you have to do that. I mean, you could just climb up a ladder or step ladder. It's baby steps, isn't it? Just explore what feels good, what feels right, what doesn't feel right. So it's giving you the freedom in your yoga practice to just be you. If you don't want to explore, if you want to rest in a strong vinyasa flow, then sit down. Nearly swore then. Then sit down. If you want to explore doing that headstand, then feel free, and I will guide you through the processes to make sure that you're doing it safely. I will strengthen your shoulders. I will strengthen your core. I'll open up your hamstrings. If I can see you're just resisting in a yin pose, then I will offer support so you can take that resistance away and you can soften into the pose and let the body and the energy body open up more naturally and more freely, grammatically correct. So it's just about being, isn't it? Rather than doing or having to do something, I think I like to create a space where people can just be, just enjoy. I really don't like talking about myself. I've never really noticed it. Well, I've never really noticed it as much as when you're staring down the lens of a camera, to be seen. Outside of the yoga class on the retreat, I mean, for example, the Costa Rica yoga retreat next year, there's 2 practices a day. The rest of the day is free time. Same as the Harewood House in September retreat. 2 practices a day with a yoga nidra at the end of the day. The rest of the time is free time, but I will be on hand around those classes. If you did want to come to me, which many people do come to me for support, for guidance, whether it's just an ear, people like to talk, and I'm just good at holding space and listening. I'm getting better as well, because sometimes the old program in me is to fix. But sometimes it's good to listen and let people just spill what they need to spill, and just in doing that alone is healing enough for that person. So hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully it makes sense. If you want to know anything else about me, just put a question in the comments, or if this is a story, send me a DM. If you've got any questions about any of the retreats that I'm running, give me a shout. I think there's 2 spaces. It's either a single double to yourself or a single sharer available at Harewood House in September, 15th to 18th, I think. It's a weekend, 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. And at the moment, booked in is Costa Rica next year, October 27th. So a long way to go, but spaces are limited for that one. And some people are talking about payment. They're asking me about payment plans and stuff like that. It's £1,500 early bird for the next few months. But if you want payment plans, it makes sense to get a deposit in early, reserve your space, and then you've got more time to spread the payments over the course of the 18 months, 16 months, say, for payment. So if that's an option, again, drop me a message. Yeah, and we can talk. I'm sure we can sort something out. around that if that was something you needed to do. Retreat wise, there's another one in the making for Harewood House in January. There's going to be a regular one quarterly, I think, at Harewood House. Looking at Grantley Hall starting soon. Well, next year, and probably a couple more at Housestein if you missed out on that adventure weekend. There'll be a chance for a couple more of those. What are we doing at Gorge? Housestein Gorge. It's like bushcraft. I think we'll be looking at bushcraft next year. So a little bit of bushcraft skill in amongst our yoga practice. SUP, stand-up paddleboarding. I may even be considering going on a little SUP yoga course for that. So I'll keep you posted on that. But if there is stand-up paddleboarding up there, which there is, then I might introduce some stand-up paddleboarding yoga there. I might do a little course end of this year, early next year, just to get that up and running. So maybe we can enjoy some yoga on a board. Also, if I do that, then we can potentially do that in Costa Rica as well next year. And actually, Sophie, if you're watching, maybe Harewood House, we can introduce that there as well. So there's options. Any questions you want to ask me anytime, feel free to just drop me a message. I hope that mic's not distorting. Any questions anytime, feel free to drop me a message. You can go on my website, you can get my email, my phone number's on there. You can probably WhatsApp me or something, or Signal. But drop me a message on social media. Most of my stuff comes through Instagram, to be fair. Most people come through Instagram. So if you want to know more about me, just ask. I'm not overly keen on talking about myself, so it'd do me good to answer some of your questions. Be good. Nice speaking. See you later.